Thousands and thousands of operators in the UK have lost money. There's three major things that you need to do if you are just going into Airbnb and Booking.com and literally that's going to set you up for big failure. You need to make sure that you are do not get a unit if you It's coming to a point now that Airbnb doesn't really care about operators. I can say that do not invest in Birmingham, but it's something that I probably isn't the thing I'm going to speak about today in this video. It's really to save you and avoid things if you're about to start a rent-to-rent service accommodation business. Guys, the reason why I said about Birmingham is I get a lot of people, especially in the UK. If you're a viewer from abroad, US, it's a town or a city in the United Kingdom, and everyone asks me going, should I avoid investing in Birmingham? And I'm like, well, I can't tell you because I don't know how much knowledge you have in the industry or what you can bring to the table or the industry or the location itself. So in today's video, there are 5 major things I've seen again and again. Been in the industry for 6 years, working with just over 300 clients actually. I really want to make sure that these are the 5 things that you really understand to make sure you have a successful service accommodation business. My name is Piers BK, CEO of GrowYourBnb.com, and today I wanted to talk about certain things that really excites me, especially the first one, which I talk about research on location. By the way, this is something that I can promise you every single time I speak to a client and I say, can I please look at your market due diligence because you've already got this unit, it's not performing, you've reached out to us to help you get some bookings, but what research have you done in that location? And honestly, half the time, probably even more, I get people saying, Piers, I've gone into Airbnb, I've looked at Booking.com and I've just looked at other people's property and it looks like, you know, it's a good place to invest. And that is something you want to avoid doing. If you are just going into Airbnb and Booking.com and literally looking at what other people are doing, that's going to set you up for big failure. And I want to tone it down a little bit because in a serious note, thousands and thousands of operators in the UK have lost money purely of this. And you know, you can go into Service Accommodation Network Group and you'll see how property sources have sourced property for somebody else. That's okay because somebody's trying to source a property for you, but it's your job to make sure you research on the location heavily. There's 3 major things that you need to do, and I've actually made a video here. I'm gonna put the link right here for you to watch it afterwards, but you need to make sure that you are checking like a guest would. You've got guests that actually pays you money, right? They're the people that actually make you revenue in your business, and you need to understand them. So that's my first tip, and let's move into the second one. So over the years, I've seen the industry change, evolved, and you know, some good, some bad. Looking at people scaling, I love seeing people grow, and some of my clients I worked with in 2019 today have amazing investment, amazing scale of properties, and I you know, sometimes I look at them going, okay, do you know what, their first few units, I was the one to give him or her all the knowledge on how to scale, how to add more properties, what to look at, and you know, going back to what I said in point number 1 about research on location. The second thing I really want to talk about is over investment, because a lot of people scale very quickly, right? Because they go into an online course, they go into service accommodation course, they go into mentorship, and there's people, obviously the good news about being in a community is people boost each other up. They say, look, we're doing this deal and it's amazing, but never over leverage yourself, never over invest yourself. If you've got a colleague of yours who's got 5 units within a year, never trust the 5 units, trust what bookings or how many bookings they're getting, right? Because I've seen people making more revenue with 2 units than people making that same revenue with 5 units, because if the 2 units perform and the 3 property lost money, what you're doing is you're really giving that profit back into your own other properties. So you're losing money effectively, right? So you need to really understand over investment doesn't really mean that you're going to make more money, because if you've got a couple of bad property, and especially if you've scaled very quickly, you're going to end up, and this is something something that any operators you speak to who's invested very quickly will let you know as well. As we move on, I think the number 3 is just going back to what I said in number 2, right? You scale the property, and let's say for argument's sake, you had your investment in Brighton, and Brighton's amazing over summer month. Again, if you're watching from different part of the world, Brighton is a very holiday location in the UK. People are going to generally get spooked, right? That's Brighton market for you. But what happens with service accommodation or Airbnb operator is they really get complacent when their properties are fully booked. Now, what does that mean to you? So when your properties are fully booked, please do not sit down there and do nothing. Always make sure you pre-plan your calendar. One of the things we do in GrowYourBnb is every single day, my client team actually go and look at people's calendar or our client's calendar, look at when are they available from next. Now, one of my clients are fully booked till 23rd of November, and we're checking out till 24th of November to 25th of December or 23rd of December. And I was like, well, actually, that just went straight away to my head. I was like, oh my God, our client hasn't changed the Christmas week and they haven't bumped up their price. So this is what a lot of, and this is the conversation now I'm having with every single client of mine. I'm like, look, I know Christmas is further out 90 days into the calendar, but we can't be complacent just because the properties are fully booked now. And we need to start looking at further out in the calendar. So, just avoid being complacent. You need to make sure you're always planning ahead of time, making sure you're creating strategy that you're constantly going to make more revenue, more profit. And eventually, what I said just now, look, Christmas coming, you bump up your revenue. Everyone's going to put up the revenue. So if you do it now, the likely chances you're going to add additional 20, 30% to your margin. So the number 4 things to avoid is do not get a unit if you haven't run a 12 months forecast, right? Now, investing without a forecast for 12 months right now in service accommodation, you are literally not understanding how business is going to work. And I think, the more I've been doing this with our clients, and especially with newer operator, again, simple things like, I want to know the mindset of an operator. I want to be able to ask them, why did you go and get this unit? Like, 90% of the time people are so wanting to get a unit, they don't do the right things. They listen to other people. They might have a friend who does it and they've asked them, is this unit going to make me money? And, but eventually what you're going to find is if you don't do the 12 months cash flow, you will not understand at what point the unit will not perform, or if it doesn't perform, what action plans do you take within that process? So it's a fantastic strategy that a lot of people forget to do, right? Which is, and I'll share you a screenshot of actually a template of 12 months cash flow. It can be as simple as just laying down all your potential expenses that's going to happen every single month, your variable cost, which is your housekeeping, your commissions and all that kind of stuff. And lastly, what profit margin you think it will make you. Because what's going to happen is if you do that for a 12 months forecast, at the end of the year, you'll be able to understand what your potential return on investment on that property is going to be, and also make sure that let you do the right decision for your investment. And the last one is not investing on your Google presence, because if you're an operator with 1 unit or 10 units, and if your current business strategy is less than 10-15% of direct bookings, then that is a problem, because you're very much relied on Airbnb and Booking.com to get you bookings. Now, obviously, I made a video recently about how Airbnb is cracking down listings if they're not satisfied on certain things that you guys are doing in the actual listing. So it's coming to a point now that Airbnb doesn't really care about operators. I mean, I've always said that. We've physically worked with Airbnb account in 2018. I have done this for 6 years. I've seen all the changes that Airbnb has gone through, and the commission structure from 3% to 18%. I've gone through it all, and the mindset of operators. And hence one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about talking about your Google presence, because the more you get seen on Google, the more you'll get found on Google, the likely chances are you're going to get more inquiry, more leads, and also then more sales, right? So one thing to avoid is if you're in this business and you've invested in this business and you've been in the business 6 months and you are hardly getting any direct booking leads, not bookings, but even leads, you are currently in a problem, because in another 6 months time, when the operation population will start to grow and you're not getting those direct bookings, and there's another 20 operators added to Airbnb, which what Airbnb is going to promote first because they want the new operators to make more money. They want to keep them sweet. You're going to start losing money. So never rely on OTA all the time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed another Grow Your BnB video, and I get very excited to share you certain things about our industry. Every year the industry has been changing. This year I've seen a lot of operators doing amazing scaling. Like some of my clients have gone from 2 units last year to 50 units this year, and you know, that's purely, I remember them saying they were about to give up their unit, right? I've got Zoom calls to say that, you know, on the recorded call to say, Piers, if this units don't perform, we are going to hand our unit back. To now, at that time, making money, to now they've scaled to over 50 units. It's amazing what's happening with the industry if you have the right knowledge. So guys, look, if you're looking to understand how to grow your bookings, how to grow your brand, please make sure you just book a call with us, because eventually what you're going to get is you're going to find out how bookings work and how you're going to grow. But look, if you've got any questions, leave that in the comment down below. And thank you so much for watching another Grow Your BnB video. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe and share, and I'll be back with another video soon.